Hi.
Hey, everybody.
That was a little abrupt. I think I might have cut off part of that, but welcome.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee. Welcome to the Unhappy Hour. But fear not, we're here to turn those frowns upside down. So this is a special reading we do on the fourth quarter moon, where we try to tell you what might be a little bit unsettling or upsetting you in this next phase ahead till the next fourth quarter moon, and how you might be able to turn that frown upside down.
All right, so we do this for the quarterly signs of the Zodiac, air signs, fire signs, etc. And then right at the end, we do one for the world. What's bumming the world out? And once again, same thing, possible solutions.
And that's why Bly is here. To get me through the world reading, because things are pretty crazy out there right now. Okay.
All right. So we start off with the air signs.
Air signs.
Gemini, Libra, and
Aquarius. I was going to say Sagittarius. I'm like, no, fire sign.
And so we both shuffle the cards, and there are four cards we go through, and then a brief recap.
All right, my friends, the air signs. I'm going to shuffle for you. They're always read in reversed. Mr. O may have said that. And, the thing is that, not all reversals are necessarily bad cards. But
however, it wouldn't be true to the unhappy hour if there wasn't some misery involved.
If there, somewhere. Yes, this is true.
All right.
All right, Mr. O.
So for the air signs, card 1. What is or will be making the air signs unhappy right now?
Well,
whoops.
It's the Hermit reversed.
The Hermit reversed.
Uh-oh. I think what might be making, well, this is just a thing that popped into my head. It comes into my head a lot when I see the Hermit reverse, depending on circumstances. So right now I'll say, air signs, that I think what's making you unhappy is that you realize you've let something go, you've been ignoring something, you've been letting maybe something build up because you've been ignoring it, and now things are coming to a head, whether there was somebody you were trying to avoid, a situation you were trying to avoid, some work that you were avoiding, it's now catching up with you, and, you can't ignore it any longer. And it's making you unhappy.
I'm going to go a little different, and I don't know if I'm feeling this, symbolically in some way, but there's a feeling like that I got when it turned over that I said, oh, that feels like we feel vulnerable, air signs. We feel like we've been exposed. We've been pushed out of the cave or the womb or the area that made us feel
your safe spot.
Our safe spot, and now maybe air signs we're feeling like somebody's pushed us out into the open a little bit. And of course that could be kind of that greater collective with,
I was just going to say, it sounds like you're talking about the world here.
The world or
part of
our
the
nation
world.
in terms, but it could also pertain to personalisms too, where a person doesn't feel like they wanted to have to speak publicly, but they're forced to, that kind of thing as well.
I like that.
Or to make a stand in a certain regard. And for better or worse, a lot of this idea stems back to the infamous 1965 stabbing of a woman in broad daylight, and people asked others, why didn't you do anything? And the answer was, I didn't want to get involved. I know it's a little bit of a stretch, but the idea that being forced to commit to some action or thought.
Well, that's all interesting, and I certainly could go that route. Let's see where the other cards take us.
Card 2. How are we dealing with, or will be dealing with, this unhappiness?
Well, it's the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So in my scenario here, I'm kind of looking at the air signs maybe, hey, this is catching up with you. You could lose money because of this. You could lose some connection with family or friends if you've been ignoring people or trying to avoid something, maybe even a partner. it could be money, it could be work related. If you don't take care of business, somebody's going to notice it. So how are you dealing with this? Well, it looks as though you're not taking care of business, right?
Interesting. And, going along with my idea, you're dealing with it maybe in the sense that although you felt vulnerable and exposed, now you're wondering, like, who's there to support me? And you're sort of questioning, that's what you're dealing with. You're questioning, what you felt supported you and wondering, where is it?
I might also add in my scenario that, sometimes this card indicates a imbalance between work and life. And I feel here that something you've been neglecting, maybe now you're really pushing yourself to try to, that's how you're dealing with it. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to get this done really fast, or I've got to take care of this person or this situation, or else, it's over. So in a way, there may, but I don't know if that's healthy. I'm just saying that's probably not a healthy way of dealing with it. You shouldn't have neglected it for so long that it got to this point.
Well, and another thought I had here too is that we're dealing with it with, not necessarily good ways. We may be spending more or frittering away, physical resources or taking them for granted when we should be using them to maybe find the control we're lacking or the situation. And so we're not really, dealing with this in a proper way, perhaps.
So are your feelings justified? This is really interesting. I mean, usually it's not a bad card, and I'd rather like to say that at Unhappy Hour as well. But I will say this. Your feelings are justified in that you realize if you'd only taken care of business at the time, you wouldn't have such a big mess now to take care of. In other words, you realize now, I shouldn't have avoided this because now I've got an even bigger mess on my hands.
Right. This card and the previous card have a sense of family or the trappings of the foundation support around you. You may be feeling that, yes, you kind of screwed the pooch or whatever they say, but you also feel too that it's not super bad. You still feel like there's something you'll be able to work with after this. So in a sense, your sort of feelings are justified, but feeling like they'll support you through thick and thin, or some sense of support will come through.
So how on earth can you turn this frown upside down? And it's a positive card. It's the Eight of Swords reversed. And so you turn this frown upside down by freeing yourself from the burden of trying to avoid the situation. When you finally get down to it and you start taking care of business, you will feel much more liberated. You won't be carrying around this sense of guilt or regret that you're carrying.
Right. I'm going to go a little simpler and say you realize, you can change this because a lot of it was a lie. A lot of it was something you believed in that wasn't really true. It may have been something you imagined for yourself. It may have been something others tried to influence you to believe. But either way, you make it better because you realize you can be better.
So it's very cut and dry from my perspective, and probably from yours as well for the air signs. I think here I'm going to run through mine and then you can go ahead. You've been avoiding something that you should have taken care of while it was just a minimal problem, whether it's work or some situation that involves others. And now you're trying to work triple hard to make up for that, and it's not very healthy to do that. And you're probably feeling more stressed out because maybe there are some animosity or difficult feelings involved. And your feelings are justified because you realize now, if only I had just not tried to hide from this, everything would be so much easier to manage. And so how you're turning that around for yourself is, by getting through the work taking care of the situation, trying to resolve conflicts, whatever the case may be, and freeing yourself from the turmoil that's going on inside of you caused by all this.
I agree with a lot of that. I mean, I think you feel like you're being forced to accommodate in certain ways right now, and you don't want to be there. And what's really at stake maybe is, do you feel like you have support behind you? Maybe that would change how you feel about that card. But ultimately, you know, you sort of feel like being a little bit weaker than normal is okay. It allows you to still express yourself. And you can turn this frown upside down by realizing that all of this may have been somebody else's game, or somebody else's reality, and you decide to maybe step around it in some way.
Yeah. That's what we have for the air signs.
All right, air signs.
All right, we're on the fire signs. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You are up. We are up.
So yeah, fire signs. What's bringing you down?
Well,
And
I could write a book. No. All right. And if you like the readings, please hit the like button. We appreciate that. If you are not subscribed, please consider it. We'd love to have you as part of our tarot tribe.
Absolutely. And as you can see from our channel, we have lots of different things going on. This is still part of TFT's Super Tarot Love Month, so we'll help you pretty happy. And then tomorrow's March.
No, not tomorrow.
Oh, it's next Saturday. Whoops.
It's
time
next
travel
week.
You know, you almost wish it was sometimes.
It's true. Want to pick them up, and I can just put the cards out. It's fun. You can read the questions.
So, question 1 for the fire signs. What is or will be making you unhappy right now?
Oh, it's the moon reversed.
Uh-oh.
So it looks as though what's making you guys unhappy is something that is going to be revealed to you. Some knowledge or information or admission or truth, or maybe you realize people are gossiping about you, right? You know?
Right. Obviously, it's the moon, so obviously it's about either gossip that wasn't meant to reach your ears or a secret of some importance that likewise wasn't meant to reach you. And, of course, it just makes you feel kind of creeped out.
And maybe it's some rumors that you're hearing, you know, like, for example, that your business is going to be downsizing or something like that. You know, there's whispers going around at the water cooler, etc.
So card 2 then is, how will you be dealing with this unhappiness?
Whoa, we had that one before in a different position. But this is positive.
It kind of goes with that.
In a way.
With the moon.
Well, in a way, the Eight of Swords, because it is a revelation that maybe... Well, you're dealing with this by thinking you are strong enough to manage this. You are capable of dealing with whatever's being thrown at you. And, you know, you feel more confidence than you have. You're almost ready to kind of go at this head on, which I think is very positive.
I mean, it could be that some of this has a little bit of self-deception involved, but maybe not all of it, of course. And this card implies that you're dealing with it because you're able to navigate between what are those realities and maybe realize what holds you back in a way is really just a perception. You can get around that.
I look at this as thinking you're not going to allow it to hold you back.
There you
That's
go.
how you're dealing with it. You're just deciding, well, I'm just going to keep on keeping on. It's kind of like in society today in the U.S., you know, many people are saying, you are not going to cancel us. You are not going to cancel our accomplishments, you know, and try to bury history. So I almost feel that kind of vibe here in a way, you know. It's kind of interesting.
All right, so then...
Now I got political.
I love it, though.
Right.
Card 3, why are the fire signs' feelings justified?
This is in the same spot. We both shuffled these good.
Oh.
It's the Four of Wands reversed. Well, the feelings are justified because it is causing a little bit disruption to what you thought was firmly established for you. You know, in other words, maybe if there's cuts at your company, maybe last year they were talking about how everybody's fine, no need to worry, our finances are fine, and then all of a sudden, bam. You know, I'm just using that as an example. So if you want to look at this even in a relationship sense, you could as well and say that, you know, you thought everything was going well in this relationship, but did you find out somebody was cheating or thinking about leaving you? Are you ready to approach that head on? And, you know, maybe the foundation wasn't as secure as you thought it was.
Maybe you feel justified that more people are on your side than against your side, that you still have a level of support coming from what is comforting around you. You may feel, you know, that these things are wrong, but that you have support even if it's not incredibly demonstrative.
So, fire signs, how do you turn that frown upside down? Well,
Uh-oh, is it the same?
it's
No.
the Two of Pentacles reversed.
Ah.
Which is interesting to me. Well, I think you have to kind of find the middle ground, the balance here. You have to be able to figure out how you're going to deal with this reality that you face now and how to make sure that everything flows as you feel it should.
Gee, fire signs, it almost sounds like there's some long-lasting going on or danger involved to the reputation or whatever with this gossip or these secrets or whatever's going on here. And it will be, you know, an act to just continually, at least for a while, work on resolving where this imbalance has affected you.
Well, you know, if it is gossip and slander about you, like I said, the gossip could be other things, but also if this is a relationship, you have to work on what's wrong if you want to salvage the relationship. And if it's about workplace disruptions, if you're fearing being laid off, well, you know, you got to make sure your finances are in order. You got to be prepared for what could come your way. And, you know, try to balance things out. Start looking for other jobs, whatever the case may be here. So, you know, that's what it looks like to me. I mean, you're finding out something that's upending your world in some way, and you are ready to but you've got a good attitude here. You are not like that hermit reversed in the other reading. You are going to not avoid things, right? You're going after it. You know, you realize you have self-confidence and you can survive whatever's thrown at you. And then the Four of Wands is reversed again to me, which was just saying that maybe your feelings are justified because, you know, you realize now things weren't, you know, as strong and stable as they seemed. And ultimately, you have to find the balance again, get your life in balance again, or that part of your life in balance again.
Well, in my recap, I think the fire signs really, as usual, just don't find a lot of these things to be such a big obstacle. And so they really just sort of decide,
like
you know,
yeah.
They don't care about this illusion or appearance that others may have. They understand a reality differently, and they just don't back down. They don't feel like it's really that much of an obstacle, and that's good. That's great. So I think overall, fire signs have it this.
And
time.
you agreed with that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we're moving on to the water signs.
Now we are the ones who are unhappy.
Cancer, Scorpio,
Pisces.
and Pisces. Well,
Always
Mr.
ready
Scorpio,
to fall a bucket of tears.
let's see what's going on in your world, huh?
Okay.
Okay, if we must. We must.
Where's Bly? Maybe I better hold on to them.
Give Bly a little hug. That's what the squishmallows are for. And what does Bly say?
I don't know.
The future looks bright.
Hey, don't I get to shuffle?
No. Yes, I guess you do. You're the one cutting for me. That's right. Oh, Bly.
You see what I have to work with.
All right. All right.
So, water signs. What is or will be making us unhappy right now?
It's the Four of Cups reversed. You lazy little water signs. No.
No, don't make me choose.
You apparently, have some opportunities coming your way. People wanting you to get involved in things, or, maybe the workplace saying, hey, can't you do the job of 2 other people as well as your own? Stuff like that. And so you have to decide and just learn to say no. Maybe family is kind of pressuring you for more of your time and energy than you really have available. And so you have to decide if you can say no, or if you really want to take something else on at this time.
Well, I'm not like other Scorpios, let alone other water signs, but a person who I consider a very good friend of mine says, I'm the most ambiguous person they've ever known. And this is what the card looks like to me, is like, what's making me unhappy is maybe being forced to make a stand, make a choice, be for something rather than against something, that kind of thing. And I'm just extending that to the water sign, saying is sometimes it is hard to live by a truth you normally would, to actually put action to your talk or thought. And so that could be a part of what's making you unhappy, is realizing you sort of have to make a stand. So, of course, this does sound a little bit larger than your personal life, but I could see where it pertains to you.
It sounds a little Seven of Wandish, too. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes up in this reading.
True. It is more about the choices you make, or the more abstract concept.
Yeah. All right.
So how are we dealing with, or will be dealing with this? Did you call it?
No, it's not the Seven of Wands, but you're going to find this one interesting. Oh. It's the Three of Cups reversed.
We are definitely not dealing very well with this. We're feeling like somebody is raining on our parade, or washing away the hopes for a great party or reunion or a good time.
I feel as though, in my scenario, for example, when I used the example about the workplace, or even the family pressuring you for more from you, the Three of Cups indicates here that, how are you dealing with the situation? Well, maybe you're dealing with the situation by pulling away more and saying, I'll have none of this. Because I think here you're saying, well, what are you doing? What are you doing to contribute? Are you contributing more to the problem, or are you contributing more to the solution? So I feel here this might be putting a kind of rift between you and bosses and management, or between you and other coworkers, or between you and family or friends.
Well, it's very tempting to say the Three of Cups reversed. That's crying over spilled milk.
In a way. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think I'm good there.
Oh, goodness.
So, card 3, why are the water signs' feelings?
Can you believe it's another cup? It's Cup-a-palooza?
Cup-a-palooza.
Now it's becoming really clear to me.
Oh,
it's the Nine of Cups reversed.
We didn't get our way.
Right. You didn't get to do what you really want. Everybody else is pressuring you to do more, but what about time for you to manifest what you want right now? And so your feelings are justified, because really, all right, maybe they're a little bit ego-based, but you really have your own dreams and goals right now too. Plus, if it's the workplace scenario, you have your own work to keep up with, right? And so you don't need any more pressure on you right now. So that's why your feelings are justified.
Well, Nine of Cups reverse makes you realize that sometimes the things you really thought brought you pleasure, or brought you enjoyment, or made you feel comfortable. And again, this could be in the work situation, this could be in other situations, you just sort of feel like it went wrong on you, or your perception of what that really was, how you really felt happiness from that, has changed.
So make no bones about this. We've got 3 cup cards here for emotional water signs reversed. And, so whatever the situation is, it's impacting your emotional self and your emotional side.
I want to cry right now.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Bly. All right. How do we turn this frown upside down for the water signs? And it is not a cup. It's the 3 of Wands reversed. Well, you, instead of...
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead. I have
There's no quick solutions here to resolving this. That sometimes you have to think about what opportunity may have actually presented, but it may just be a quick way of investing in something else, moving on to something else. And you may have to sit with this a little bit, or you may have to think about what is a better use of your powers here.
Well, what is a better use of your time and your energy? And I think here that you have to plan. I think the only way to turn this around is you have to, instead of allowing this to just keep building up and affecting you emotionally, you have to plan for how to say no. Or maybe find a compromise, find a way that you can get, well, I'll do this if you agree to do this, and try to find some common ground between the people who are demanding more of you than you are capable of giving right now. What? Me? I do that to you?
So I guess we're going to have this conversation, Renee. What can you do for me? I'm kidding.
Give me pie. What? Why did you hear that? Oh my goodness.
I'm just teasing.
We didn't even wrap that up, Mr. O.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I just did, though. Well, here we are again.
All right. I just want to say, only, if there's any way, I think right now the main thing making you unhappy is this idea that people are trying to pressure you, in a sense, to take on more than you can handle or that you want to handle. And you got these, yeah.
Sorry.
And you are not dealing with the others well over this. I feel here too, you're wondering why they have abandoned you and are making you, putting you in this position. And you're expecting more of them than they're able to support you right now. And it's messing with you. It's messing with your hopes and dreams and what you really want to be working on. You want to have enough time and energy left to work on your own goals. And unfortunately, you've still got a ways to go. You've still got a ways to go here. You're going to have to figure out a strategy, and you really are going to have to put your foot down, or maybe leave a situation behind that is really taking too much out of you.
Well, a bit of this makes me think of a song.
Yeah.
It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. But obviously there is light at the end of the tunnel, and, water signs should just heed those words that really, this is more about yourself, and you have to change yourself, because it's your emotional nature to kind of dig into your feels, but, you can resolve this.
That's what we have for you, water signs, and now we're on
the Earth
signs, Taurus, Virgo, right? And Capricorn. All right.
And of course, these readings can be looked at from the sun, moon, and rising point of view,
That's true. We didn't mention that, but that's
true. It is a truism.
Yeah.
We ourselves have a bit of Capricorn in our charts, so this might be an interesting reading.
All right.
And it's Friday afternoon, but tomorrow we're back with the happy hour. And that one's live. That's from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. approximately.
We just give you a single card positive message for your week ahead. No questions tomorrow's show. We'll be back for questions on Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All righty.
Oh, was I supposed to do that? Did you shuffle? Yeah, you did.
Of course.
Okay, sorry. Just realized you'd pick up the cut. All right.
All right. Earth signs. What is or will be making you unhappy?
It's death reversed.
Ah,
That would make me, as a fire sign, very unhappy.
yeah.
Nothing's happening. Everything seems dead in the water. Either you're afraid of a change that's coming or has just recently occurred and you don't want to deal with it. Or just that things are stagnating right now. You know things need to change, but it seems that there's no way out of where you're at right now.
The word is turgid.
Turgid. Okay.
It just feels like so slow and tiresome. And it feels like, a movement that just struggles to move. It's sort of like a washing machine that is struggling to churn, that kind of idea.
Could it be that some of you have become, I don't want to say complacent is the word, but too bored by your job, your present job? Are you feeling there's no challenge there anymore? There's no excitement. It's just very droll, day to day, 9 to 5. I'm just making my money and leaving. That kind of thing. It's uninspired. Maybe that's where the stagnation lies. It could be in a relationship. Let's see how the cards go.
All right, card 2. How are we dealing with this?
Well, it's another major arcana. It's the Magician reversed. Well, not well.
Oh.
Don't do anything unethical or illegal to shake things up. Why? But I also think here that this is saying that maybe you feel, you're not dealing with this well, and you feel like you can't get out of this situation because you don't trust it. You're not confident or determined enough. You just feel like you're just going to have to stay stuck where you are rather than try to use the tools at your disposal to make life better. You just feel like you're stuck with the circumstances as they are, and either you don't have the knowledge or skills or the motivation and drive to do something about it.
You're forgetting who you are. You're forgetting your power or your secret power, your connection to your own personal sense of magic, whether you see that as affirmations or whether you see that as some sort of other ceremonial work. You're forgetting who you are and therefore how you navigate the situation. And so it's not a good way to deal with it.
So are your feelings justified? Well, it's the Page of Swords reversed.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think here they may be justified.
I'm going to say that
I got it, but go ahead.
Maybe they're justified because you realize this is more passing and that this will pass. I mean, you may not consciously realize that, but that's what the card embodies, perhaps, that really this is momentary and that there may be some flaws in dealing with this, but you're going to kind of move back to that more, nuanced understanding of things.
I don't know. I'm kind of feeling when I look at that card, it's combined with the Magician in some way. And I would say that your feelings are justified or you feel they are, because you just don't feel, you feel like, this sometimes is representative of an imposter in a way, somebody who's faking it until they make it. And that's sort of also a tone with the Magician card as well. Somebody who's trying to pretend they're somebody that they're not, a sleight of hand kind of thing. And so I think these combined together are saying you feel this is justified because you really feel you've been going through the motions. You've been trying to fool yourself into believing that you are something that you're not. But maybe, if you've been, for example, doing this work for a while, you certainly know what you're doing. You might be just fooling yourself here. You might be the one who's fooling yourself.
Interesting. How will we turn that frown upside down? Earth signs.
Oh,
Ah, it's the Five of Cups reverse.
Yeah, and that's also a good ending card here. And I would say your feelings are, or I mean, how you turn that frown upside down is that maybe it's time to shake things up. I mean, obviously you're lacking confidence in what you're doing now, and that's why you're struggling here. That maybe it's time for you to reach out and branch out and look for new opportunities for growth. Look for something new. Challenge yourself. Or maybe even at your present, if this is job related, and I'm beginning to think it might be more than a relationship. I'm really thinking it may have more to do with work. And so if it is job oriented, maybe it's time for you to step out of your comfort zone and either move to a new company doing the same thing so you feel more confident in yourself, or, trying something completely new and challenging.
Well, I really like what you said there, but when that card first flipped over,
Yeah.
I thought about what you had said about a previous card. I
Okay,
thought,
go ahead.
this is sort of like another way of saying fake it till you make it, in a way that maybe you turn that
really?
frown around because you come back to the situation and you come back saying, maybe, there is this quality I can bring that sort of lightens the mood. It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm feeling, but it is sort of like maybe engaging in a different way or trying something a little bit different.
It is true that that card can be double-edged sometime, in that it's either going after something new, opening yourself up to new experiences or opportunities, or it can be a return, like for example, in a relationship, somebody comes back to you, or you return to them, to family or to a partner, etc.
All right.
So let's take a look at this again for the earth signs quick. Obviously, there's some stagnation in your life. Things are not moving forward, and it's frustrating. You just feel like you're stymied, stifled, or you lack creative energy anymore. There's no growth and no purpose, you feel, to what you're doing. And the magician here is just saying almost the same thing, but it's saying it a little differently, that the way you're dealing with this now is just going through the motions and pretending that you're having fun or that you're really into your work, but you're not anymore. You're kind of putting up a false front here. And I think here, your feelings are justified to yourself because you sort of feel like you are fooling yourself that you are any good at what you are doing. But that is the lie. And finally, it seems here the only way to turn this around is to challenge yourself, to break free from this stagnation. You have to find a way to change things up, whether you ask at your present job for a transfer or a promotion, or whether you look for some new opportunities somewhere. That's what I think you have to do.
And I'll just be brief and say that a lot of these cards seem to intermingle along the ideas of maybe pretending or facades that we might do. And of course, we do that in our normal lives. We have personas. We act this way with the boss, but we might act that way with a neighbor or that kind of thing. So I think a lot of this is maybe understanding that sometimes the facades or these things work, and sometimes maybe they don't get received the way we think we are, and we just have to, think about that and maybe reevaluate how we are approaching everybody.
Nice. That's what we have for the earth signs. Now, reading for the world.
The world.
Hold on. I'm going to need you here.
Okay. Hold
on. Okay, Bly, let's shuffle. So this reading for the world may emphasize the U.S. because that's, where we're based, but you can take the lessons that we're talking about here into how they apply to your country, etc. And, we may see some correlations of things, major events and things that have been going on in the world.
We love it when some of our followers notice this and maybe say things like, and it happened recently, like we just call it the way we see it. And, part of that is maybe either of our own, somewhat blunt nature. It's a difficult road for card readers because there are some things where you may see them explicitly, but you really do have to consider how you're expressing that.
Well, yeah, and
for your client.
Yeah, I agree. There are some who just use tarot to encourage and as therapy for others. And we like to think, too, that tapping into, these harsher realities and truths that we experience day to day, and being real about them is also a form of therapy as well. But it also gets your mind thinking in terms of how can I make things better?
So with that, hey world.
What's happening?
What's bumming ya? What is or will be making us unhappy right now? And again, it's collective, so we're trying to go for a Gestalt general feel.
Wow.
Oh.
It's the Hanged Man reversed. And the Hangman reversed is really very ego-driven in a way. They're not willing to make the sacrifices necessary, to sacrifice anything for others. And so I think in the world right now, we're kind of seeing people, pulling back on things where there was cooperation before and working together on things. Things are starting to splinter and faction off. And some may say, well, that's been going on. And yes, to some extent, that has been going on. But there's been unity. I know that Britain, for example, left the EU and, different things have happened. But, NATO has grown. Other alliances have been forming. And so I do feel here, I don't know why, I'm getting a sense, too, of something that just happened in the U.S. where they took away and they stopped foreign aid going out to other countries. This is affecting a lot of charities and aid agencies. And, when I think of unwillingness to sacrifice, I think in terms of something like that.
In the most general possible ways, this is really about people learning the world learning how it has to make certain accommodations, right, perhaps, and of course sacrifice ego or meter ego proportionate to that. And we know that the elephant in the room is that something happened politically in America, in the United States, that is affecting or will be affecting the entire world. And so what's making the world unhappy right now is the realization that maybe they have to figure out something different that appeases ego, whether it's theirs or another, or whether they have to make certain sacrifices.
Right. Well, it's making people very uneasy, whatever it is. So, Card 2 is how is the world dealing with this situation? Ooh. It's the Queen of Pentacles reversed. I think they're trying to find their way to taking care of each other during this time, filling in the gaps that might be happening because of the nationalism going on in the U.S. right now. So there may be a lot of countries that are figuring out how to take care of each other and what they need to do. I think that might be constructive here to some extent. But also, I think other countries are really going to have to look at their own defense as well. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with all that, and I think that maybe from another kind of perspective, the world is thinking about how this impacts on the health of Mother Earth or of our planet.
Oh, that's true.
And so this could be a pause. We're trying to deal with the idea that there could be bad outcomes for the planet as a whole. Hence, what Banshee's talking about, that we have to find ways to take care of themselves ourselves.
Yeah. So are the world's feelings justified? Are people's feelings justified? Well, it's the Two of Wands reversed this time. I think that people feel the future is so uncertain now, and with some of the shifts that are happening so fast worldwide, because let's think about Ukraine and how that might suddenly shift in a different direction, what China might be up to. There's so many different things going on right now, and Israel, all the stuff still going on in the Middle East. it's hard to plan going forward. And I think people realize too, their feelings are justified because they're just not sure what would work in this kind of environment.
Boy, you leave it hard for me to find anything else coherent there, but you are so on the money here, and it's what I would have said. There's really no way, a cohesive plan may develop easily, and so that could be a part of this too, is feeling like, is there, suitable protocols to do? What if maybe things have been shaken up so hard that it's going to be harder, more difficult to go those ways, to create or recreate those ideas.
Yeah. Okay, world.
How are you going to get it together and turn that frown upside down?
It's the Empress reversed, which is again,
wow, so
taking care of each other. We so desperately need that, and we really need to think about the people who are the most vulnerable here, and also we have to come up with creative solutions, and we may be a little bit stuck with that right now. I'm feeling the interplay here between these two cards, but I feel that the more leaders meet on their own, and or with their constituents or with their national legislative branches, etc., they can work things out. They can come up with solutions.
It's a very powerful card to end with, and it kind of almost in a way makes us want to reflect back.
Isn't it funny?
On the first
start with a major arcana, we end with one here.
And that, that if we fall into the idea that we have too many regrets, or we'd rather hide, or if some of us are feeling like we should go this way, that way, those are not really healing, and the planet needs to heal. And I think that this is really as close as it gets to not just talking about the nations and the people of the world, but of the planet itself really needs some loving care right now.
Well, it's really interesting because I can see your planetary, obviously when we have the Queen of Pentacles here and the Empress, it really does have an earthy element to it. But I would also say and argue that, we also have a pentacle and a wand between these two. And it makes me think that this has to do with world finance, and that this thing has to do with world industry or governance.
Okay, yes, right. Enterprise, right, wants. I can see that too. That's a very interesting. In fact, especially if you put them together, it does sort of seem more state powerish in a way, doesn't it?
And all of these things impact on Mother Earth. So, let's face it. So we can't rule out with Mr. O where Mr. O is going here or where I'm going. And I feel here, if I wrap this up for the world, I would just say, right now, everybody is operating under this ego thing that, and people unwilling to sacrifice. So in other words, this is why we have a tariff and a trade war, because nobody's willing to give in. And you know what? I don't feel that people should give in. I feel that people should reach mutually acceptable compromises or agreements. That's the way things should operate, not bullying other people into doing what you want.
That's a very good point about the Hangman, because I think the idea is when you go into your ego, you realize the resolution really has to be good for everyone. That's consensus.
Yeah. And then, how you're dealing with it? Well, I think here, right now we may be not taking care of ourselves or the planet, and we realize that we're not dealing with it. On the one hand, I could say that. On the other hand, I could say there is a realization that people have to start taking care of the business that other people are refusing to do. So, they have to start looking after the world, after the health and well-being of others, tackling poverty and taking care of those who are vulnerable.
Whoever can be a helper should be.
And are feelings justified in the sense that everything is so uncertain right now? Yes. It's hard to plan out what's happening when people are trying to ram things down everybody's throat so fast, whether it's in the US or elsewhere. They just want what they want, and they want it now. And how can you plan around that?
The binary qualities associated with this card say it really behooves people to find a way back to the table when they can.
And ultimately, the only way to turn this around is to take care of one another. Take care of one another. Take care of yourselves. Try to find creative solutions to problems, to break through the blocks that are the obstacles that are being put in our way.
The Empress is about creation and creativity. And we all have that. We all have to believe in ourselves sometimes more to get to it.
Oh, good luck, world.
Good luck, world.
Wow, that's our readings. A lot of they all told stories today in a very cohesive
It's a good
manner.
reading. I hope you all agree.
And I hope you enjoyed it. And if so, please feel free to leave a comment. If you have any constructive criticism, we're always open to that as well. So, any other thoughts?
No, it's going to be, a long road to
next fourth quarter moon.
And then, of course, we'll see how that goes.
So take care, everybody. Do the best you can to turn those frowns of yours upside down. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.